When I read the message, I thought it was a prank. Can't wait to feel you again tonight, winking face, don't be late like last time. For half a second, I smiled, ready to tease my wife about sending me a flirty text while I was at work. But then I noticed the name she'd typed at the top. Ryan Redheart. My name is Daniel, and for 8 years, I believed Emily and I were solid. We weren't perfect, but we laughed, shared coffee in the mornings, kissed before bed. I used to think routine was comfort. Turns out it was camouflage. That text was the first crack. I didn't reply right away. Instead, I stared at my phone until my vision blurred. Every laugh we'd shared started to sound like mockery echoing in my head. My hands were shaking, but a strange calm followed. I decided not to confront her yet. I wanted to know how deep it went. That night, she came home humming, dropped her bag, kissed my cheek like nothing had happened. I asked about her late meeting. She smiled, said the client needed more revisions. I nodded, pretending I believed her. At midnight, while she showered, I checked her phone. It wasn't hard. She still used our anniversary date as the passcode. There were dozens of messages. Sweet, reckless, disgusting. Last night was perfect. You taste like sin. He'll never know. I stopped at one message she hadn't sent yet. I told him I was exhausted, going to bed early. You can come by in 20. That was sent at 11:42 p.m. I was sitting right next to her at that time, watching a documentary. She'd said she was tired, kissed my forehead, and went to sleep. I didn't wake her. I just watched her breathing, slow, peaceful, fake. The next morning, I decided to reply to that accidental message. But not with anger. Not yet. I texted back, I'll be waiting. Where the red one? 3 dots appeared almost instantly. Then her reply, oh my God, Daniel, wait. I put my phone down and smiled for the first time in weeks. All day she kept calling, texting, apologizing for a huge misunderstanding. I didn't answer. I wanted her mind to run wild. When I got home, the house was spotless. Candles on the table. Dinner ready. She rushed to hug me, eyes red from crying. It was just a joke, she said. A message meant for a friend. I looked at her like a stranger and asked, a friend who tastes like sin? Her face drained of color. She whispered, you read them? Yes, I said softly. And I saved them too. She broke down then, babbling excuses. How she felt lonely, how it didn't mean anything. I just listened. The woman who once demanded honesty now begged for mercy she didn't earn. That night, I slept on the couch. Not because I was angry, but because I needed space to think. My heart wanted to scream. My pride wanted to plan. By morning, my decision was made. Instead of sending rage, I sent her something else. A single message, you should check your email. Inside her inbox was a forwarded chain of all her messages with Ryan. Every picture, every word, every timestamp. Beneath it, I'd written, since you love sharing, I thought I'd help you be transparent. She called me instantly, voice trembling. Daniel, what did you do? Nothing yet, I said. But transparency can be powerful, right? She begged me not to ruin her life. Said she'd lose her job, her reputation. I told her she should have thought about that before inviting someone else into our marriage. Then she asked the question that decided everything. Can't we just forget this ever happened? That's when I finally felt something break inside me, but not my heart, my attachment. I stared at her message for a long time before replying. Forget, I typed. That's the one thing you've made impossible. I hit send and placed my phone face down. For once, silence felt like power. She didn't come home that night. Maybe she was staying with a friend or with him. I didn't care enough to find out. While she hid, I began to build my peace. First, I transferred the joint savings to a new account under my name. Half of it was mine legally, but she'd been spending it like it belonged only to her. Then, I canceled her secondary card, unsubscribed her from everything I paid for, and froze our shared credit line. By morning, the house felt lighter. The weight of denial had lifted. When she finally walked through the door, eyes swollen, clothes wrinkled. She tried to smile like it was all just a bad dream. Daniel, I made a mistake. Please, we can fix this. I nodded slowly. We can fix it, but not the way you think. Her expression softened with hope until I handed her a manila envelope. What's this? She asked, voice shaking. Reality, I said. Inside was a copy of the divorce papers, already filled out, already signed by me. She gasped, hand over her mouth. You're ending us? Just like that? I looked at her for a long moment. No, Emily. You did that the night you hit send to the wrong man. Her tears came fast, desperate, manipulative. She reached for me, tried to touch my arm, whispering all the familiar words. Love, mistake, forgive. But every syllable bounced off me like rain on glass. I'm not angry anymore, I said quietly. That's what scares you, isn't it? You expected shouting, chaos, begging. You expected the man who couldn't say no to you. But he doesn't live here anymore. She stared at me as if trying to recognize the man standing in front of her. I could almost see the moment it hit her, that she'd lost control. I continued, calm and steady. You don't have to worry about your job. I haven't sent those messages to anyone. I'm not here to destroy you. I'm just done participating in my own humiliation. Her voice cracked. Please, I'll end it with him. I'll do anything. You already did, I replied. You ended it when you mistyped my name. For the first time, she didn't argue. She just sank into the chair, hands trembling, eyes fixed on the floor. The silence between us was colder than any fight we'd ever had. Before I left, I placed my wedding ring on the table. Keep it, I said. Maybe it'll remind you to double-check your messages next time. I walked out, not with rage, but with something cleaner, freedom. It's been 3 months since that day. I moved into a small apartment across town. The quiet doesn't hurt anymore. I cook my own meals, work out more, sleep better. Sometimes I still scroll through old photos, but now they feel like someone else's memories. Emily tried reaching out at first, calls, emails, letters. I didn't answer any of them. She even sent one message saying, I'm proud of the man you've become. I deleted it without opening the attachment. People say revenge doesn't heal. Maybe they're right. But closure isn't always about hurting someone. It's about making them see what they lost when they thought you'd always stay. Last week, out of curiosity, I checked our old shared account. She'd withdrawn nearly everything that was left. I smiled. That money was the last string between us, and she cut it herself. Funny thing is, I'm not bitter anymore. The pain faded once I realized that betrayal doesn't define the betrayed. It exposes the betrayer. Sometimes I imagine what would have happened if she'd never sent that text to the wrong name. Maybe I'd still be living blind, convincing myself her late meetings were real, her distance just stress. But fate has a strange way of handing you truth disguised as pain. That message, her mistake, was my freedom letter. So no, I didn't ruin her life. She did that all by herself. All I did was reply, you should have checked the name before you hit send. And from what I heard later, that single line was enough to leave her shaking.